Thanks for joining us for KSAT News at 9, streaming from right here in the KSAT 12 newsroom. I'm Steve Spreester. Coming up tonight, we're taking a look at the number of COVID-19 cases at the Bexar County Jail. We'll be joined by a local vascular surgeon. We'll ask her your coronavirus questions. And Bexar County's all-digital public library preparing to reopen on Monday. We're going to hear about the safety measures they're putting in place. But first, a big jump tonight in confirmed COVID-19 cases in Bexar County. There are now 1,477. That's up 103 from yesterday. That jump attributed to widespread testing at the Bexar County Jail. In fact, 91 of the 103 new cases were from the jail. Tonight, the death toll remains at 48. 746 people are still fighting the virus tonight. 683 have recovered. Speaking during today's daily briefing, San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg addressed the governor's plan to ramp up testing across the state.
Part of that plan is to deploy 50 state guard run operations for mobile testing. All 50 of those teams, you should know, are being trained here in San Antonio. Those teams will be completely trained by tomorrow, and already 6 teams will be deployed here in San Antonio. We have one team that is going to be conducting a mobile site for testing at the Frank Garrett Center.
Another one of those Texas National Guard teams will be helping out with testing inside the Bexar County Jail. As we said, that's where the number of cases continues to rise. As of tonight, at least 157 inmates have tested positive. Stephen Cavazos joins us live from the jail with details on those confirmed cases. Stephen.
Steve, today Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf talked about the testing that's happening at the jail. Now, he said out of all these positive cases that we're seeing, many of those aren't showing any symptoms at all. Now, we do know 157 cases were confirmed here at the jail, but 122 inmates that have tested positive are still incarcerated. Now, some have been hospitalized, and we do know that at least 10 have recovered.
You can't hold a prisoner just because he may have COVID. He has a right to get out just as anybody else does when his time is up. So it would have to be a shelter-in-place issue that you would try to do with him once he does get out.
Now, those that are testing positive who are still at the jail are being separated from other inmates. Judge Wolf says that while the jail is currently testing 150 inmates and guards a day, that number is expected to rise, and help could be coming from the Texas National Guard, who the governor deployed earlier this last month. Now, some of those teams have been trained to help out with testing in congregated settings. Now, right now, it's unclear how many deputies or staff have tested positive for COVID-19. City and county officials say as testing capacity increases, so will that number. Steve?
Thank you, Stephen. Today marks 7 weeks since the first COVID-19 case was confirmed in Bexar County. Here's a look at how the cases have grown in our area. We started the month of April with 229 cases. By April 13th, 794. Less than a week later, Bexar County crossed the 1,000 case threshold, and tonight again, there are 1,477 confirmed cases. And a lot has changed over the course of the past several weeks, but some businesses and services are starting to return, including Bibliotech, Bexar County's all-digital library. They're reopening next week, hoping to provide Wi-Fi to students who may be struggling to complete online classwork due to the lack of internet access. Tiffany Huertas has a look at the changes Bibliotech has made to ensure the community and staff are safe when they return.
When we had to close down, knowing that people rely on our services, it was difficult for us to do that.
Bexar County's digital public library has been closed during the coronavirus pandemic.
Since things have been closed down, people that are unable to access, don't have Wi-Fi at home or don't have a computer at home, they've been really, really in a bad spot, particularly for those families who have been trying to educate their kids at home.
But soon those families will have access again. Bibliotech is set to open on Monday and will operate at 25% capacity.
The reason we made that decision to open is because we are in neighborhoods that do not have access to the internet. The vast majority of people in the east side, west side, south side do not have that access.
Bibliotech's director says people will be required to wear a mask. They will also have their temperature checked before entering. Laura Cole says they have been disinfecting the different locations in preparation of next week.
Today and yesterday, we kind of did walkthroughs at each of our branches with the staff so that they could know how we're going to be able to do this safely for everyone. We'll have social distancing markers out. traffic patterns marked out.
Cole says the children's area and community rooms will be closed. Computer sessions will be limited to 1-hour sessions so that more people can use them.
Our branches have always been located intentionally in challenged areas where people don't have the discretionary income necessarily to have a broadband service, or a device. Opening back up is important to us, even in a limited capacity.
For the 9, Tiffany Huertas.
When Texas Governor Greg Abbott announced the first phase in his Reopen Texas plan, many businesses were eager to open up again, including Traders Village. Now the flea market says they will have to remain closed for now. Traders Village releasing a press release tonight saying the city of San Antonio's attorney's office informed them that they won't be allowed to reopen this weekend. The release says they disagree with the decision, but will honor the city's wishes to remain closed. Zooming out now, there are now 29,000 cases reported in Bexar County and 816 deaths. Nationwide, there are 1.13 million confirmed cases and more than 65,000 deaths. Globally, there are now 3.3 million cases and 238,000 deaths. Let's turn to tonight's 9 at 9. Joe Biden denying a sexual assault allegation brought against him. NASA is using satellite images to study Earth's ice sheets. Plus, a look at how COVID-19 is impacting communities around the world. Here's tonight's 9 at 9. For the first time, the presumptive Democratic nominee for president, Joe Biden, addressing a sexual assault allegation against him.
This never, ever happened. I don't know what is motivating her. I don't know what's behind any of it, but it's irrelevant. It never happened. It never happened, period.
Former Senate staffer Tara Reid has accused Biden of assaulting her back in 1993. Reid says she complained to multiple colleagues in Biden's Senate office about the alleged assault. Biden says such a complaint does not exist. The Indian government has extended the nationwide lockdown by 2 additional weeks until May 17th, but certain areas and activities have been exempted. Movement for select purposes will be allowed. This comes after the government has arranged transportation for stranded migrant workers, students, and tourists to return home. Uvalde County officials leaving it up to certain businesses about whether or not to open up, even as state officials say they haven't been cleared to do so. The mayor and county judge added gyms and salons to the list of businesses that could reopen today in Uvalde County. However, the state attorney general's office has said allowing such businesses to open goes against the governor's order. Uvalde's mayor told KSAT he would leave it up to the businesses to decide whether to open.
I'm not going to get in that fight. He says they can't. I'm not going to tell them they can't. They have a licensing agency they have to deal with that'll control them. Me personally, I think you can't.
In Georgia, hair salons have now reopened. This comes a week after the state allowed gyms to reopen with new social distancing and safety guidelines in place. The International Criminal Police Organization, or Interpol, says that drug dealers are posing as delivery workers and carrying warmer bags containing narcotics instead of food. Police in countries from Ireland to Malaysia are reporting the issue. In Spain, police arrested 7 suspects delivering drugs hidden in the bottom of a food delivery backpack. In Ireland, officers recovered 8 kilograms of cocaine and 2 handguns hidden in pizza boxes. In some cases, the suspects actually were food delivery drivers who had knowingly signed on to deliver drugs. It's a staggering number, 1.9 million. That's how many pieces of microplastics researchers say are in a single square meter of ocean floor. It's the highest concentration ever found on the floor of the sea. Microplastics are small pieces of plastic in products like glitter, exfoliants, and detergents. They pose critical environmental dangers. New data from space is helping scientists better identify the changes in the Earth's ice sheets. Researchers created a map from data gathered using NASA satellites. It found increased melting on Antarctic ice shelves. The satellite also observed Greenland and found surface melt on the coast. Whole Foods requiring that customers have face coverings, and within the next few days, they're going to begin offering free disposable masks to shoppers who don't have them nationwide. A 30-pound piece of the moon is up for sale at Christie's. The lunar meteorite landed on the Earth during a meteor shower. It was discovered 2 years ago in the Sahara Desert. The asking price, around $2.5 million.
To read more about these stories, head to KSAT.com.
Good evening, meteorologist Katie Blake here. Hope you had a great Friday, and we've had such tremendous weather over the past few days, but things will be changing as we head into the weekend. In fact, one of the biggest things you'll start to notice as early as tomorrow, increasing humidity. So the air won't be quite as dry as we head into the weekend. There'll also be more clouds around over the next few days, especially in the mornings. And really, we're about to settle into a hot and humid stretch of weather that won't change until the middle of next week with the arrival of our next cool front. So tonight, temperatures not falling down as much, only into the mid to upper 60s, so it won't be as cool tomorrow morning as it has been the past couple of mornings. There will be some morning clouds out there as well. In the afternoon, we'll see some sun, and that'll put our afternoon high temperatures back in the low 90s. That's where a lot of us were today. Our saving grace, not only Saturday, but for the next couple of days, will be a nice breeze, especially in the afternoon and evening hours. So tomorrow morning, winds on the lighter side, but as we get closer to lunchtime, then into the middle of the afternoon, winds about 10 to 15 miles per hour, and that breeze is just going to help to keep that hot, humid air moving around just a little bit more, and that'll be around to help us Saturday and for the next couple of days as our dew points crank up. So it's the south wind direction there that is bringing in all that Gulf moisture, keeping our dew points high in the 60s into early next week. You'll notice though those dew point numbers do drop into the 50s, maybe even the upper 40s briefly by Wednesday and Thursday behind a cool front that's forecast to arrive late Tuesday into Wednesday, and there'll be a chance of rain with that front as well. As for this weekend, no rain chances in your forecast. We'll start off cloudy in the mornings, then mostly sunny in the afternoons. High temperatures each day in the low 90s. It'll be more humid out there, but we'll have that south breeze to help us out this weekend. Monday, Tuesday, not a whole lot of change. It won't be until later in the day Tuesday that cool front coming in could spark some isolated showers or storms, mainly north of San Antonio. Into Wednesday, that frontal boundary continues to move through. We'll have another isolated chance of a shower or storm, but really what that front will help us out with is dropping our temperatures in the afternoons back into the 80s. That'll be a nice change. Have a good weekend.
Coming up, a vascular surgeon talks to me about her concerns now that Texas is reopening. After the break. Until the crisis is over, every weeknight we are trying to separate the facts from fiction surrounding the coronavirus. Tonight, Dr. Lisa Ochoa with the San Antonio Vascular and Endovascular Clinic joins us. Dr. Ochoa, thank you for joining us once again. I want to talk about, we're reopening Texas at this point. That means a lot of elective surgeries are being put back on the books. What's your main message for patients who are thinking about getting one of these elective surgeries or have already scheduled having their elective surgery?
Oh, that's a great question. And so the first question I ask is how urgent or how immediate do these elective cases need to be? And they vary. Some cases can probably wait another month, but there's some that have already been put on the back burner for 3 to 4 weeks and probably should be done sooner rather than later. The other question I would have a patient ask is, could this procedure or surgery be done in a more controlled area, such as an ambulatory surgical center or an outpatient cath lab? I feel like those areas that are smaller, have more controlled environment, and theoretically can decrease the risk of being exposed to COVID-19. The other question I would ask as a patient is, can I get tested for the COVID-19 before I have surgery? And the reason that's important is there's been some early studies, we don't know for sure, but it's possible that patients that may be asymptomatic, no symptoms, that undergo general anesthesia for surgery may have some complications more so because they're positive. And in that regard, they would want to hopefully delay that surgery until perhaps they test negative.
Yeah, I would also tell people that just, like I have questions written down here from our viewers for you, it's okay for them to go in with their own questions for the doctor or the surgeon to ask them, and some of the questions that we've just gone over. They need to be their own advocate.
That's a great point, and that's what I tell my patients is any of us physicians should be able to answer every single one of your questions. You are your own best advocate, and no question is too simple please come into the office and ask all these questions. I mean, the reality is we're all making the best decisions we can with information that we have. And the more information a patient has, I think the better decision you can make for yourself as well.
I know when we talked a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, maybe now, you were concerned that you weren't seeing a lot of patients that you normally see. The volume of patients maybe was down. Is that still a concern for you?
It still is a concern, and my concern is my patients are very vulnerable patients. They have diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, chronic kidney disease, and those chronic medical conditions can lead to many different complications. And so what I've been seeing is I'm not seeing the same volume, and the ones that I am, they seem to be presenting a little bit later in their disease process. And that has me concerned, because when they present later in the disease process, then they often leads to worse complications. And so that example in my specialty is patients who come in with ulcers that are so large or infected that there's not much more that we can do, and may end up with complication like an amputation, when perhaps if they presented earlier, that would not have been the case.
But you are seeing evidence that people are just waiting before they come see a doctor.
I have, and when I speak to the patients, I can tell you that there's, just like we don't know what's going on, there's a lot of anxiety and fear that they have, and they're being told to stay home, and they're doing as they're told. But what I do want to encourage them is to reach out for help from their primary care doctors, from their specialists. There are a lot of here that can see them in a safe manner, and they still need to take care of those chronic medical conditions so that they don't end up in the hospital like we don't want them to.
Do you have thoughts on whether it's too soon to reopen Texas?
That's a good question, and I think we all have been asking ourselves that. I guess the real answer is I don't know. I am happy that we're taking a very staged approach. In San Antonio, I'm happy that we have our public health committee that the mayor put together, where they're getting the health experts to make recommendations on how we open and what the markers are for as a marker to open up. As long as we are cautious and safe and make sure we continue to measure what we're doing and be willing to take that step backwards and hold back a bit if we see that we're headed in the wrong direction.
I know that you're a vascular surgeon, so obviously you watch what's going on with arteries and blood clots and possible strokes. There are some that say that they have seen complications from COVID-19 patients that lead to blood clots and could potentially lead to strokes. Are you hearing the same thing from your colleagues?
Yes, I am. I'm following my colleagues on the East Coast, New York, New Jersey. They see a lot of these. And it's interesting because we're worried about, the respiratory symptoms, but what we're finding is these COVID patients are, in medical terms, we call hypercoagulable. They're prone to blood clots. And they're seeing young patients that would be odd to see a stroke in. They're seeing strokes in those patients. They're seeing blood clots in the legs called deep venous thrombosis that can lead to a pulmonary embolism, or clots that break off and go through their lungs. And so these are life-threatening complications. My colleagues have been talking about trying to prevent those clots in COVID patients, whether we need to start them on blood thinners, on partial blood thinners. I think these are good conversations to have. We're going to learn a lot as we go on, and as long as the medical community communicates with each other, then we can figure out how we can best take care of these patients when we see them here in San Antonio.
I want to give you the final word tonight. What do you want our viewers to take home from this conversation?
I want them to know that we are medical professionals. We're all trying to make the best decisions for the healthcare of patients. And so ask questions of your doctors, ask questions of the hospitals and the clinics that you go to, be your own best advocate, and know that we are all trying to do our very best. And the more information that you have, then you can make a better decision about your health.
Be your own and best advocate. Dr. Lisa Ochoa, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. Here at home, a local OB/GYN who recovered from COVID-19 has donated her plasma in hopes it will help others. After coming back from a trip to Colorado, Dr. Elizabeth King began to feel tired. When she realized she was running a fever, she went to get tested, and that test turned out positive. Dr. King is now fully recovered, has donated convalescent plasma to the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center. Researchers believe that the antibodies in the plasma of someone who has fended off the virus can help develop a potential treatment. That plasma is also being used to treat patients who are still infected in the hopes it boosts their ability to fight the virus.
You know, you hear these stories and you want to help patients recover from this. There's no vaccine, there's no true treatment, there's definitely no cure. And so if there's some way that I'm able to provide a treatment opportunity for a patient and potentially reverse or improve their course, I definitely, want to be a part of that.
The South Texas Blood and Tissue Center began accepting convalescent plasma donations from recovered patients earlier this month. Since then, they have had 24 donors and have been able to collect 140 units. If you've recovered from the disease and are interested in donating, email COVID-19 at southtexasblood.org. The FDA has issued an emergency use authorization for remdesivir. That comes after promising results of a COVID-19 treatment study being conducted at dozens of test sites, including 2 here in San Antonio. The drug, which is given by IV, reduced the time of illness in hospitalized patients with severe COVID-19. An emergency use authorization is not the same as a full FDA approval, but it's a sign the FDA believes the benefits of a drug far outweigh its risks in certain patients. The drug can only be administered in a hospital setting by a healthcare provider. Residents can now apply for Bexar County's temporary rental assistance. Those who meet the criteria can get rental assistance for up to 3 months. To read more about that criteria and the documents needed to apply, head to KSAT.com. Just because you see something trending online doesn't mean it's necessarily accurate. At the end of every week, the Associated Press puts together a roundup of some of the most popular but completely untrue stories and images of the past several days. Let's take a look. The first claim we're fact-checking tonight, a photo shows Democratic presidential hopeful Joe Biden kissing a young girl's cheek. This photo has been circulated on social media with the caption, "Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce the Democratic leader for the presidency of the United States of America." Here's the problem. That photo is actually of Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador. But over the years, Biden has come under scrutiny for his interactions with women, and recently a former Senate staffer accused him of sexual assault in 1993. He has denied that allegation. All right, the next claim we're looking at, a photo shows a woman at a California protest against stay-at-home orders holding a sign that says Barack 6, Hussein 7, Obama 5, COVID equals 19, open your eyes. What does that mean? Well, the numbers tally up the letters in Barack Obama's name, and an online conspiracy theory movement uses numbers associated with significant dates or the number of letters corresponding to a person's name to promote baseless claims of an attempted coup against President Donald Trump. In this case, social media users falsely claimed the woman was linking the former president to COVID-19, although the letters in his name only equal 18. Social media users posted the doctored image with comments mocking the woman for the math error. Here are the facts here. The woman's sign actually spelled out a much simpler message. It said, "Give me liberty or give me death." That's the actual sign. All right, the last claim we are fact-checking. Video has surfaced showing North Korean President Kim Jong-un's body on display in a glass coffin. But these videos were misrepresented. They actually show Kim's father lying in state in Pyongyang in 2011. Meanwhile, Kim Jong-un made his first public appearance reportedly today, though we haven't seen him. Reportedly, he made his first public appearance in 20 days. San Antonio students perform virtual concerts to pay tribute to their classmates, and a local third grader sews masks for first responders and neighbors. RJ Marquez takes a look at some of our feel-good stories in the Week in 210.
A third grade San Antonio student is sewing masks for his neighbors, healthcare workers, and Bexar County constables. Mateo Alcorta attends Elrod Elementary and has now sewn more than 1,000 masks.
When my mom told me about the coronavirus, I got like supplies, so I wanted to help people like by giving the face mask so that way we could stop it from spreading.
Mateo learned how to sew in February. His mom says they're not asking for money, they just want to help. A San Antonio store wants to celebrate comic books while practicing safety measures. Heroes and Fantasies announced this week they will give their customers free comic books to celebrate National Comic Book Day, which is usually the first Saturday in May.
Try to make it a fun event, even if it's a smaller capacity. We just want to expand the world of reading through comic books.
The store has promised to follow social distancing and occupancy guidelines. A Northeast ISD art teacher helps get students supplies with pizza boxes. John Davis teaches at Bernal Middle School. He started to deliver art supplies to his students who need them to complete their classwork. Davis used to deliver pizzas 30 years ago. He reached out to local restaurants and 5 of them donated the boxes to him. He filled each box with supplies and delivered them to students earlier this week. Students from a varsity mariachi group in San Antonio did not let the coronavirus stop them from paying tribute to their fellow classmates. Students from Fox Tech ALA posted a virtual concert on YouTube. 16 students recorded their parts from home.
It was just such a beautiful experience for me, and to be able to connect with our students still, and for them to still have the passion for mariachi.
The nearly 5-minute performance includes vocals and instruments. Current and past performers of the Rowan Forest Elementary School's music department put together a virtual concert as well. They played the classic Bill Withers song Lean on Me and posted the video on Facebook. The school's 5th anniversary concert was canceled. The video starts with a message that says, despite their event being canceled, the music will never stop.
Hey guys, time to check out some stories that are trending tonight on KSAT.com. And let's start with some local tourism spots that are reopening this weekend. That includes the San Antonio Zoo, which is going to have their whole drive-through experience. It looks pretty neat from the videos and everything that they've shared with us. We also have Natural Bridge Wildlife Ranch, which is reopening, and the Pearl as well. So of course we have restaurants, retail shops there, so you can check out all that stuff. Now this will all be done with social distancing guidelines in place. So go to KSAT.com, check out the list. Now keep in mind, Six Flags Fiesta Texas, SeaWorld, and Schlitterbahn all remain closed for now, but we will update you when those parks are set to open. All right, moving on here. Speaking of theme parks, the biggest one in the world, really, the most popular spot, Disney World, is outlining some of their plans to possibly reopen, hopefully in the near future. So we've been hearing a lot about phases that's going on here with the state as well. They're going to be doing that as well. So they're going to have about a 50% capacity initially to start, and then it's going to be bumped up to about 75. They're also going to have markers now 6 feet away so that guests are not too close to one another. And they're going to be, for now, I think, canceling some of the live events, parades, and fireworks show just so that people don't gather as much. Now, they have not set a date, so keep that in mind. But if you go to our website, KSAT.com, you can see the rest of their plans to open up the happiest place on earth, and we definitely love to see Disney back in business. I know a lot of people are definitely missing it, so check out that story on our website. All right, last story for your Friday night trending segment. Usually if you go viral in Jeopardy, that does not indicate a very good thing unless you're like Ken Jennings or that other really smart guy who made a run the other day. There was a contestant who recently confused Janet Jackson with Ariana Grande. So I get it, this guy probably doesn't listen to a lot of pop music, hip hop, or any R&B and stuff like that, and I don't blame him. Hey, you know what, I'm not too up with too much music trends right now, but the answer to the question was, as the recipient of the 2018 Icon Award, that should have been an immediate thing right there, that was part of the clue, and yet he still said Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande is like half of Janet Jackson's age right now, definitely not an icon yet. But this is pretty funny. It was recorded and of course went viral. So Twitter definitely took it easy on this guy. Not really. If you want to check out this major mess up on Jeopardy, gotta love Jeopardy, head over to our website, KSAT.com. And you guys have a great weekend. Stay safe out there, and I will see you again. Bye.
That does it for KSAT's News at 9. Thank you for joining us. Have a great weekend. And from all of us here at KSAT 12, stay safe. See you on the Night Beat at 10.